Welcome to the JA Company Program Meeting 3 Volunteer Resource video. In this meeting, you will help students understand how data can be used to make decisions about the direction of the business, help the company make the final decision about what product or service to move forward with, and submit the product approval form to JA's insurance company. Before class, determine what personal story you will share. We recommend sharing a story from your own experiences where your company faced a challenge and had to decide whether to pivot or persevere. Based on how well you feel students know each other or their preferences, Meeting 3 can begin with a team builder activity. If it's not needed, simply skip past those slides. The key goal before the end of today's meeting is to have determined the product or service the company will be moving forward with. Given the pace of the program, there's little time available for market research. If you're in a classroom scenario where Meeting 3 will be divided into 2 sessions, or your schedule allows for the luxury of extra company meetings, students can plan to spend the first half of Meeting 3 determining what research questions to ask and whom or where to ask them. They can also perform the research between sessions and then report back in Part 2 of Meeting 3. Most often, student companies target high school students as their key customer, so a quick survey of products and pricing in the classroom or with friends will likely suffice. For many companies, the bulk of their research will take place online during the class session. This is facilitated by dividing the class up into 3 groups. Each group is assigned one of the product or service options and uses the business research form to help guide their online search and discussion. While students walk around the class to offer assistance and answer any questions they have. Be sure to provide a clear timeline to students about how long they will have to conduct their online research. There must be adequate time reserved in Meeting 3 for the class to come back together, report on the research, and come to a consensus on the product they will be moving forward with. Often, as students ask each other questions and explore the options in greater depth, one choice rises to the top and the final product or service option becomes clear. Other times, it's less obvious. If students have difficulty sorting through their product options, consider utilizing the deeper dive activity to explain and lead students through a SWOT analysis to decide which business idea to pursue. Before the end of the session, acknowledge the student's choice and confirm that everyone is in agreement and supports the decision. This is critical to the future success of the company. Go back to the 3 questions introduced in Meeting 1. Students should all be able to answer yes to these questions. Yes, our idea fills a need. Yes, people will buy our service or product. And yes, we are passionate about it. Have students complete the product approval form, and when complete, submit it to be considered for approval by the insurance company. Please allow 48 hours for a response. While doing their product or service research, students should also consider the following. How easily can startup capital be raised? Are they motivated about this business idea? Do they have enough time to market, produce, and sell their product or service before the program concludes? Will the product be produced by hand, meeting lower costs but more time? Or will they purchase and improve an existing product, meaning higher costs but less time? If the students have a great product or service idea but are concerned that it may not be approved, contact the JA Insurance Company via email as soon as possible, even if they haven't yet completed the product approval application. You can also contact your local JA staff person for guidance at any time. If a product or service idea is not approved, please work with the students to determine how they may be able to modify that idea or combine it with other ideas that were developed during the brainstorming process. Also consider, are there ways to take elements of their initial idea and combine them with a less risky product or service? You may also want to share with students some information about intellectual property and continuing the business after completion of JA Company program. Junior Achievement does not assert any claim to the intellectual property or IP on products and services that are created by JA student companies. IP ownership would fall into public regulation and looked at by the legal system in the same manner as any IP dispute. This means that the person claiming ownership must prove that they should own it. JA Company Program stipulates that upon conclusion of the program, the student company must liquidate all assets and close down the company. Upon liquidation, if there are students who wish to separate from JA and continue to run the company or a variation of the company, they must do so within the same legal framework that applies to any business operating within the United States. Keep in mind that all JA Company products and services must be approved by JA's insurance company. This is required to ensure that company products and services are legal and safe. And in order to participate in the JA National Student Leadership Summit, the JA Student Company product or service must be approved. Finally, be aware that you should not proceed to Meeting 4 until the company product or service idea has been finalized and the product approval form has been submitted and approved. Before you conclude, tell students that they will begin to develop a business plan to capitalize, structure, staff, and market the startup during Meeting 4. Thank you for being a Junior Achievement volunteer.